Hi everyone, my name is Mary Beth. Welcome to my channel. So today we are going to figure out what lessons are we here to learn. And the reason why I think this is an important question is because when we're done with our human lifetime and we go back to the other side, I believe it's my own personal thoughts and opinions that when we go back, our soul kind of does a review and we figure out did we come down here to do what we were supposed to do? Did we learn the lessons we were supposed to learn? Did we evolve in such a way where we don't have to do this again?
Yeah!
So I think it's important to know what life lessons are we here to learn? Because if we don't learn it, there's a possibility where we might have to put it on the list when we come back in our next lifetime. And I don't want to do that. Do you? Do you want to come back? If you give yourself a contract and you say you have to cover and complete letters A through Z, and you only completed A through G, and now you have to come back and you have to complete H through Z, I don't want to do that. I want to have a new list. I want to say, yes, ma'am, I completed my lessons in this lifetime. Because here's the thing, life is not the easiest, and our soul contracts are a bit of a struggle, and so it would be really nice to learn the lessons in our struggles the first time. So let's ask that question. What lessons are we here to learn, Spirit? And I'm thinking, let's pull 3 cards. I'm sure we've learned already an abundance of lessons. So these are the ones that we haven't quite gotten yet. What are these lessons, Spirit, that we haven't quite gotten, that we're still working on? That if we crossed over now, the soul would be like, wah wah. It'd be like, you didn't quite get what you're supposed to get. And I have to say, this one right here, okay, so we got number 51 and we got Moonlight. And I get this card all the time. And this is the moon, which means illusion, fear. And I feel like I really should do a reading on what truth is versus illusion. And it's almost like we're here to try to figure out what is the illusion. What are we not supposed to be buying into here? What is the illusion? And you know what's hitting my brain? Because I can only speak for what illusions are coming up in my mind. Because I'm all about rising in the vibration. Because I think the next level after your human life would be. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. So basically, when we're human lifetime, in my opinion, we kind of move up to being a guide or a guardian angel. It's just really just my personal beliefs. It may not be correct. So anyway, I feel that going up the scale of, getting to love and joy and peace. So this would be getting out of illusion. And so that would, for me, would mean that, nobody's broken. Everybody is living out their soul path the way they're supposed to, no matter how bad it looks from another person's perspective, where, oh, this person's so broken, or oh, this person is just so this or just so that. And I think the soul wants it that way, right? So the soul wants to learn. So the soul wants to be caught up in this loop, or wants to be caught up, whatever, the addictions, or caught up in the problems, or because maybe that's where the learning is. The learning lesson is in the problem, and if they're not in the problem, then they can't solve. Or they can't learn their lesson. And then when they go back to the other side, their guides are saying, well, did you learn your lesson? And then they'll say, well, no, because someone solved our problem, and that was where we were supposed to learn our lesson, type thing. So anyway, so it's just my own personal thoughts and opinions. And so the illusion of where people need to be a certain way, act a certain way, look a certain way, to me is one of the illusions. So I'm going to put that here. So to me, that's what that card is saying, is to get out of the illusion that people aren't not I'm not gonna say it that way, where really there is no masters, and everybody should be honored, right? Everybody's path should be honored. Everybody's, no matter what, no matter how you know horrible the lifetime seems. It at a certain level, once you start hitting those higher vibrations of being in joy, of being at peace, you're honoring your own lifetime, you're honoring all of your creations, and you're honoring everyone else's. Okay. So anyway, so the illusion, getting over whatever illusion that you may have, which I guess is kind of the ego, is how I'm looking at that. But what's interesting is we also have wishing well. Now that came out reversed. And that's very interesting because we have a lady here who has got this wishing well of gold, it looks like. And the fact that it's reversed, and then it was also with this movement, by the way. So we have movement and we have the wishing well reversed. And what they're telling me is that it's really not what they're saying. It's not really about this whole I wish upon a star and then all my life will be just so glittery and glamorous, and and God's just gonna answer all my prayers. And it's almost like this dream that I used to have where I used to say, where's the wormholes, where I could just snap my finger and I could just be anywhere I want, where I don't have to kind of drive to an airport, get on the plane, go through the rigmarole, get off the plane, find a car, get to the hotel, you know and what they're really saying, because that's where the lessons are. Like, we're not here to go with, I don't know if you could think of Bewitched with with Samantha with her nose, toot, 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 with her nose, and her magic, like bing, and like magic, like I just whoop, here it is on a silver platter. Ta-da! Look at me with my, silver platter. And so what they're saying to me right now, Spirit, is that no, it's all about the work. That's where the lessons are. The lessons are in the journey. The lessons are getting in the car, finding a parking spot, getting on the plane, dealing with all the rules and the regulations, getting off the plane, waiting your turn, getting a car, getting to the hotel. That's where the lessons are. The lessons aren't in the wishing for a superb, spectacular, fun life, right? So obviously that's part of life, but that's not where the learning is. Okay. So that's what they're telling me. So for those of us that think, well, it should be so much easier. Like, we should just be able to snap our fingers and God's just supposed to help us have what we want right here and now. And the higher self is saying, yeah, and we understand why, because you don't really want to go through the struggle. But the problem is you didn't sign up to come to Earth to not struggle. You came here for specific life lessons. So let's find out. Let's get some more life lessons here. Why else for the collective, please? What's going on? What's the collective saying? Let's pull, I don't know, I'll pull another 3. We'll pull another 3 cards. What's the life lessons, Spirit, that we're learning right now? What's the life lessons? Oh, right. And some of them are going to be reversed, so these would be the shadows. All right, yeah. And here's one that's upright that says victim. Interesting. Prevent you from letting yourself be victimized. Yeah. So understanding that, we're not a victim, which is so hard. What a tough life what a tough life lesson that is. Understanding that we're in a soul contract, so anything that we do, so it's almost like I think we do have free will as a soul, but as the avatar, the human, I don't really think we do have free will. I think the soul has already written it. I think you could do the which way game, but I think you're going to come to the same outcome because it doesn't matter how you get to the outcome. It's already written. The soul has already written specially for you, so that you can learn these life lessons, and so that when you go back to the other side, or heaven, or whatever you want to call it, and say, ta-da, look what lessons I learned, and everyone's going to clap for you and be so excited for you, and they're going to say, oh my God, so your life plan worked? Like, what you came up with actually got you to learn the life lessons? Because with some souls, I don't think it does work. I think they come down here, I think they give it the old college try, I think they give it, hey, I'm going to be addicted to drugs, or hey, I'm going to, lose both my parents by the time I'm 5. And then these are the lessons I'm going to learn along the way. And sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. And maybe you might go to the other side and the soul might say, ah, dang it, I didn't learn the lessons. Something went awry here. And so then they say, well, let's try a different plan. Maybe I will get that lesson if I do it this way. Okay. And it's really hard to be a victim. It sucks so bad. I mean, so bad. And yet it's a soul contract, and so the soul kind of wrote it in, and so it's you and I don't know, you met up with a victimizer. Just know that you and the victimizer had already contracted this particular, situation to learn the lesson. And of course, maybe one of the lessons could be is that understanding that, we're not a victim, you know, that, we kind of created this scenario, like we are the writer of our own stories. The
Hmm.
next one is healer. And so I'm sorry, I should be showing the card here. So I think a lot of us are healers in this lifetime, and so there's going to be life lessons when it comes to healing. Now, mind you, it came out reversed, this card, and what this is saying is nobody needs healing.
Huh?
As I think I said before, nobody is broken. Nobody needs fixing. Everyone is perfect the way they are. And if you cut that short, if you fix them or if you fix their situation, then they cannot learn the lesson, and now it's like a wah wah. And because you, but it's not like your fault, like you wanted to help them and you want them just to be happy, right? So feeling happy and joyful and at peace, of course that's what we want for everyone, and so we want to heal them. We don't want them to be in mental pain, we don't want them to be in emotional pain, we don't want them to be in physical pain, and so we want to heal people. And unless they ask for our help, we're really not supposed to be doing that. We're not supposed to give them the ending, or we're not supposed to take their problem away, because that was what they chose to learn their particular lesson. So, and ironically, that is one of our lessons. Okay. Now, the next one is Prince reverse, as using power for self aggrandizement, whereas the light attribute is romantic charm and potential for power. So, yeah, so, you know, this is a big one, I think, because I think a lot of us, we want that power. We feel so powerful in such a way where we don't want to be a victim, right? We just want to take our power back, and that might mean we might want to make others feel powerless. You know what I'm saying? So that we don't feel like the victim. And that's not really the lesson we're here to learn, in this. If you resonate, if this doesn't resonate, if this reading doesn't resonate to you, then it's not yours. But if this resonates for you, and a lot of people on the twin flame journey might be feeling this way, and that is that when you empower yourself, it's like, but it's also what's right for everyone. Like, how is it a win-win-win-win-win
Yeah!
situation? It's not just like
Woo!
I win, you lose, and I can only win if you lose, and if you win, that means I lose. And this is looking at it in another way, where it's more, no, we're all winners. We all are, for the highest good. And then with this particular prince, it has something about romantic charm. And so the way I look at that is it's more of a self-love. Okay. And when you empower yourself and you empower all of you, because we're all one, okay? That's how I look at it. And a romantic, because here he is, he's got his flowers behind his back, and he's got this charm about him, and who doesn't want to marry a prince, right? But the fact of the matter is that he's also got that. Hold on, they're trying to tell me something here. Hold on. That's interesting. Yeah, it's all okay. So this is what they're telling me. So it's almost like you do it because it's almost like you think you're supposed to do it. It's like you're just trying to make not a show about it, but it's just that the lesson is that we feel like we have to look a certain way, be a certain way, act a certain way, do things a certain way, believe a certain way, and then people will look at us like, wow, what a prince, you know? Like, oh, look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm so special. I'm a special snowflake. That type of thing. Look, oh, like I'm a royal. People look at a royal and say, oh, they're so royal. Oh, they're so special. And the lesson is no, actually, yes, we're special. I'm not gonna say we're not, but we're all special in our own way. Like nobody's more special than the other person. I don't care how royal you are or how famous you are, or that's more of a kind of a self, like, oh, look at me. And that's really the only way that that person can feel empowered. They wouldn't feel empowered otherwise. Okay, if you didn't look at them and if you didn't say, wow, this person's a prince, they would feel lacking. They would feel like, oh, I'm a nobody. And that's a big life lesson, for us here on earth. Okay, So I was going to grab just a couple more cards to see any other life lessons that we need to be getting when it comes to living this life and not having to do it again. You know, like how proud are we when we go to the other side and we're like, guess what? You gave us a list of what we needed to accomplish when it came to life lessons. And even though you gave us a freaking maze and a puzzle, and I mean a 5,000 piece puzzle to put together, we still did it. We put that 5,000 piece puzzle together and we learned the lessons. And here we are. And now, boo-wah, or bu, I don't know how to say it. Boo-wah. We're going to the next level. Okay, so we got 3 more cards here. So what else? What other lessons are we supposed to learn here? And so we have success to attain a particular goal as measured by wealth, position, accomplishment, or honors. So whatever that means to you. So when you see yourself as successful, what they're telling me though is that it's not what you think. Like this level of success is not because you hit that $1 million mark. It's not because you were successful at getting your doctorate degree. I mean, those are nice milestones, but that's not what they're saying. They're saying that the success is coming from you understanding, and it's when you get the lesson. It's like when these hard times hit you, and you're like, what the heck? Why am I in this situation? And they say, and when you figure out the lesson and why, that's the big success, because you're thinking more like soul success here. Then we have family, to prioritize the health, well-being, and happiness of those in your family. So that might be also a learning life lesson for you. So it could be making sure that, because it could be your soul family, right? I mean, if you really think about it, if they're in your physical family here, like on your earthbound family, not all of them, but I would say many of them are also your soul family. And so you probably contract to be with them over and over and over and over. And so, of course, you want to make sure that well-being and happiness, means it's the highest good for everyone, right? Including your family. Highest good for not just you, but when you make these choices, it's for the highest good of your family, is what I'm getting from that. Okay, and the last one is leadership. And this is hard too, right? Because maybe you just want to be left alone, right? Maybe you don't want to be a leader. Maybe you just want to sit back and say, you know what, leave me alone. I just want to be a hermit. But they're saying, you know what? Part of your life lesson is leadership, to be in charge, guiding or leading others toward a goal. Maybe leadership is something else that your soul signed you up for. You need to be a leader in something. Something about being a leader. I just realized I don't have my light on, so I do apologize for the darkness on this video. As a matter of fact, well, we're almost done, but sorry about that. I just realized how dark it's getting. So I'm hoping you can see that. But yeah, so here are some of these life lessons that we might be learning in this lifetime. I could always do another reading to see what other life lessons, because I don't want us to miss out. I don't want us to go to the other side and then, our oversoul says, well, you did great. You went through a lot. I love you so much. You really hung in there, but I hate to tell you that you didn't click off these life lessons, and so now we got to incorporate them in your next lifetime. Right? And if that's what happens, that's what happens. But at the same time, if we can avoid that, let's try to get it the first time. Or maybe it's not our first time. Maybe we're trying on our 10th time here anyway. All right, what do we got here? Now we got see it through. So that makes total sense. And oh, sorry. And look at him. Like he's just like, I got this. There's a lesson here. Like look at his face. He's like, all right, I'm in this situation. What am I supposed to learn from this God? What's the perspective I'm supposed to have on this God? What do you need me to know about this, right? Doesn't he kind of look like that? So it says, see it through. You don't always finish what you start and then talk badly to yourself because of it. Break the karmic pattern by seeing a project through to the end and then be proud of what you accomplished. Yeah, so that could be a bigger perspective, or in a smaller sense, where yes, you do have a project, and maybe part of your life lesson is to finish a project. So maybe you're in the middle of a project right now, and you really need to finish it, whatever that may be. It could be right, like what we were just talking about before, where just seeing this life through, like knowing that we came here with life lessons to learn, and trying our best to learn it, to understand it, to grow from it, to move up the next level, you know. However you measure that. I use the Hawkins scale and I calibrate, that's what I do. So what that means is, oh, I don't have my cheat sheet. Sorry, I didn't bring my cheat sheet. I usually do, but I usually have like a Hawkins scale to show you, and then with the Hawkins scale, there's actually a point system on there, and then I'll muscle test to calibrate what it is that I'm doing or the decision I'm making, or calibrate where I'm at. And so based on the life lessons that I've learned, and the more that I have had breakthroughs, I will seemingly move up the scale, which could be at this point love, and then at some point joy, and then at some point peace, and then enlightenment. At some point union. That's a little bit farther up the scale, way farther. And it's okay. It could be this lifetime if all goes well. Could be next lifetime if all goes well. Right? Either way. But anyway, I'll see if they have any other advice, Spirit, when it comes to life lessons. Any other, one more card to close out this session. What other advice do you have when it comes to life lessons? See it through was very, very helpful. Now we have choice. You're being asked to make a choice that you've been struggling with. It's time to decide which path you're going to take. Listen to your intuition, eliminate everyone else's input, and feel your way into the choice that is right for you. The time is now. Yeah, that's a huge one. There's a lot of choices going on right now, and I can personally say, I just see with myself, that I've been having a hard, because I kind of had a preconceived idea of where my life was going, but then my life went a different direction, and it didn't seem correct. It just seemed weird. So making a choice and then being committed to it, right? You know what? I would love to do a reading on that. I think I'm going to do a reading on that. What should we be committing to? So I'm going to do that next. I'm going to do a reading on what is it that we should be committing to at this time. Because I think a lot of people are in this confusion. Lots of confusion. But see how he's looking up like, for the love of God. And just kind of lost at sea here. Just kind of looking around and saying, looking around the bend and saying, God, I'm on this path, but I don't know where this is going. I don't even know if this is the right direction. But the good news is we're in a soul contract. It doesn't matter which way you take, you're going to come to the same outcome. Because there is no correct outcome when you have a soul contract. The soul contract already has your back, already has the correct outcome for you. And even though it may not seem like all majestic and all, I don't know, Disney World and fireworks, it is the exact outcome that you're supposed to have based on the lessons you signed up to learn. And that's what the soul cares about. The higher self, oversoul, maybe even God, maybe higher up the chain. Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, I do hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.